This is a bear. It's a canned black bear. It's a funny gag gift because it comes with the can sealed. And then you open it, you're like, oh, a bear inside.
There she is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, Raina Douris.
Ooh, thank you. It's good to be here.
Good day,
Do you
Raina.
know what the podcast is called?
The Brent Carlin podcast.
Oh my God, she's done her homework.
Of course I did.
This is
You've
why
seen
she's
it on
advanced
Twitter.
in her career, and we've stayed at the exact same radio station.
She remembers people's names.
I was listening to your interview with Frankie earlier.
Oh, nice.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
I did better than him because he asked if you'd ever had guests before, and I didn't have to.
You
know
knew
your
that
guest number
Frankie
two.
was the first one.
How's it going?
How are things, Raina?
Things are, they're okay. All things considered, I feel all right. I've been sitting in this chair for basically a year now. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going back to Philadelphia soon, which is exciting. I've been in Toronto this whole time.
How long have you been in Toronto?
Almost exactly a year. I drove back on St. Patrick's Day. And I remember that because my boyfriend had made an Irish stew and had a bottle of Jameson waiting for me after a 9-hour drive, which I proceeded to drink most of immediately.
How does that work with the crew at the radio station you're working at? Are they like fine with that, or are they like get
We
back
should say where Raina works
Yeah.
and what she does, right?
I guess, yeah, that would be the professional thing to do.
So, Raina, how about you tell us?
Sure. I'm the host of World Cafe from NPR. We produce it at WXPN in Philadelphia, which is a community-supported radio station. And yeah, it's a national music interview and music discovery program. How's that?
That was the most radio way of putting it I've ever
That was
heard.
well done. That was really
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
People ask us what the podcast is about. And I'm like, one time I asked Carlin, would he rather be caught shitting or fucking? And
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. I guess we can swear.
You can swear away
feel
all you
free.
want.
Amazing. I feel so free and also a little scared.
This is so cool because I haven't even talked to you since you started working at a Philadelphia radio station. Like I asked before, they're like, it's cool doing it from Canada. There's no limitations or anything.
Well, I mean, basically, when we all got sent home like a year ago, they gave us stuff to record with. And then like 2 or 3 days later, Trudeau went on and did that thing where he's like, if you are Canadian, come home now. And I was like watching TV and I was like, okay. So I, came back here and then they mailed me a bunch of gear. And so, we're not live. We're like close to live. We're not live. The interviews, obviously, when we do them live in real time, like we're doing right now. But the show itself is pre-taped. So we're able to work as a team online. We had to basically refigure how we do everything. So like the first couple of weeks, we didn't really do anything. Like if you look at my schedule from March last year, there's just a 2-week block of like nothing happening because everyone was trying to figure out what to do. Fortunately, we work a little bit ahead. So we just played some old stuff. But yeah, I mean, it works okay. I'd rather be there, but nobody's in the office. So it kind of doesn't matter, thanks to the internet, where I am. It's like I could be sitting in my place there and I'd probably see my coworkers just as much. So it doesn't really make a difference.
How many people do you have working on that show with you?
That's a great question. Hang on, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 8, maybe 9.
That's a big deal.
So yeah,
That's
I mean,
a
we've
really
got
big deal.
producers. There's a contributing host who hosts some stuff. There's our executive producer, basically my boss. We've got like line producers, so the person who would sit in the studio with me, press all the buttons. Since I don't press my own buttons anymore.
Ooh, moving on up in the world. For people that don't know, that's a big fucking deal.
Well, now I press all the buttons because I'm at home. But actually, the first time I didn't have to press all the buttons in a radio show was very weird. And I was like, I don't like this. Can we go back to the old way? Because it's weird to like give up that control. And then we have I think the title is technical producer, and he makes sure all the bands that perform for us and that everything that goes out sounds great. And yeah, so like basically because we also usually have live performances in the studio that we broadcast, those all have to sound great. So that makes the team bigger too, right? So because you have like people booking things and recording things, it's more than just the part that I'm doing on air. So we need like more people to do
Are
that.
these people dedicated to just your program, or do they like help out with like the technical people, for instance? Are they helping out with like live performances for other shows that are part of NPR or whatever?
Most of our team is dedicated to our show.
Cool. That's like a solid group of people then.
Yeah.
Yeah, our digital department works with the whole station. So WXPN, which is where we produce it, they do stuff for everything else that's also on that local station. So that part we do share, but everybody else is pretty much like World Cafe.
This sounds like what radio was like when you talk to like boomers from back in their radio career, when people used to actually work in the radio station. Now it's like two people doing 17 jobs.
Yeah, I mean, that is still definitely like a thing. Everybody, I think the most consistent thing I've had at every station I've ever worked at is like, I wish we had more resources, right? Like, it's like, no matter where you are, people are doing a bunch of stuff, working weird hours, and like, there's never enough money or people to do what you want to do. But it is nice, like World Cafe, because it's a nationally syndicated show, and it has, I don't want to get too like in the weeds with like worky jargon, but like it has a funding model in the States that's interesting. Like there's the NPR like sort of side of it. Our station WXPN is actually owned by the University of Pennsylvania, so that's part of it. You have listener support, so that's part of it. So it's like there is some stuff to play with because you're working for such a big audience. But yeah, that's kind of boring, but it's that's how it is.
It sounds cool.
Yeah, it is crazy to think that there's so many people just dedicated to one specific part of that show. Because like, as you know, working at Indie 88, like you kind of have to do so many different things or else you won't get anything. Hey. Like I think at one point my job title was literally like weekend swing, evenings, creative writing, and digital contributor or something. Like it was 4 things. And I was like, the fuck is my actual job here?
Indie 88 definitely. Sorry, I was gonna say that's definitely true for like some people at our local, like at XPN. There's people who's like music director and they're on air, like that kind of thing. So like, there are people who are doing multiple jobs in that way. But yeah, I don't know. I think especially like I remember at Indie, it was like I started as music director in Afternoon Drive. Yeah. But then like even on your show, you're really doing everything yourself. Like every piece of audio that goes on air is because you put it there.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that Indie 88 is a treat. When I was working in smaller town radio, that's when you're doing absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And I think the moment I had, like Raina, when you were talking about not pushing your own buttons, was when someone sets up your own remote for you. Because in those small stations, you have to like, you go there an hour early and you're setting up the little podium, you're getting everything done. But it's so cool working in a bigger market where you just roll up and everything's set up for you.
Yeah, I mean, I remember even like the first time I went to, because I did promo, that's how I started in radio in the first place. And so like setting up all that stuff, setting up remotes, doing all that stuff, like I did all of that. And then I remember, especially when I went to the CBC and like suddenly it was like, you don't do anything except for what you are there to do for like your specific thing. And I like kept being like, can I help somebody? Like, I felt like a jerk. I'm like, I'm just like sitting here, like letting you work around me.
I still do that. After every single remote, I feel so guilty. I always say to the street team, like I ask them if I can help them break stuff down.
Like,
and I carry stuff to the car with them because I can't let them like do it themselves. I just feel way too bad.
Is it bad that I stopped doing that a while ago?
Did you?
I mean,
you hot shot
I don't think it's bad.
It's not a hot shot. It's just like fucking what Raina said. I get paid to do this.
I don't think it's
time
bad.
Is money, baby.
I think that you know, they are paid to do that job. You are paid to do your job. If you feel like you want to help, you can help, but no one's gonna be mad if you don't help. Like no one's gonna really be like, oh, Brent's a jerk for like not doing this. I think. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they all think you're an asshole.
I mean, I did have one former intern get bombed at an event and come up and tell me that not only none of the interns like me, no one at the station does.
What? Tell this story. What event was it? No, I've never heard the story.
We're at the Horseshoes a couple years ago, and this person who used to be on our street team came up to me and was like chatting my ear off, and they were hammered, and I was there. I think I was either on a date or with a friend. So it was just like, one, I don't know you very well. Two, like, you're clearly interrupting an evening that I'm having away from work. It just happens to be at something that work is also at. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, no doubt. Thanks. Anyways, like, I'm just kind of in the middle of a conversation right now. Do you mind if we get back to you later? And I was very, very nice about it, especially because I think it was a date that I was on. It didn't want to look like an asshole.
Right.
And you're lucky, Brent. That the street teamer came up to you and made you look like a real hotshot in front of your date.
Yeah.
You think, until she cussed me out and said, "This is why none of the street team likes you and everyone at the station hates you." I was like, what?
I'm amazed that a person on the street team had so much gossip from the rest of the station.
Yeah.
It's an accomplishment.
I could sense that what she's saying wasn't true and that she was just gong show drunk. I guess I've revealed that it was a woman now at this point. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy thing. I just remember being like shocked about it. And then they just stopped coming around.
What did you say back?
I said, I have a feeling, I said something snarky, like, I have a feeling at least Carlin likes me or something.
You said that.
That's not a cool answer. No. I think one person does.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was just like, oh yeah, well, I got one fucking friend, okay? Because I don't know what the rest of the street team feels about me. She's got a better beat on that than I do, honestly. I was like, maybe they don't like me. I think I'm pretty nice to them, but whatever.
Very
it was, it was wild. Like, it was an absolute trip. And I was just kind of standing there flabbergasted, as if to be like, you just fucked over like any shot you had at me being a reference in your radio career, because now, like, I don't root for you at all.
Well, it sounds like they'll be able to get one from someone else on the staff, because
yeah. She's clearly well connected and going places.
Those street teamers have great gossip, because you're sitting there with them for 4 hours and you're just asking them about everything, and some of the stuff that they have is pretty good. Not that I have any stories or can remember anything really, but like, lots of the times they go out drinking together and stuff happens.
When I first started working at Cool FM in Barrie, which is one of the stations that Indie 88's bigger brand, Central Ontario Broadcasting, owns, the first thing that our vice president said is, like, swing announcers have the tendency to be the gossipy people because they're never in the building and they always want to know what's going on. They always want to, like, feel like they're more of a part of it. And I was like, I feel like I'm the fucking opposite, because I don't want to talk about radio at all.
Yeah.
See, I don't know, because you're always in, if you're a swing, you're in at like different times, talking to different people. So the best place for gossip, if you work in live radio, is the transition time between the other person's shift and yours.
Oh yeah.
And you're like in this room, they haven't talked to a person like other than the microphone in like hours. They're probably stewing over a whole bunch of shit, and then you come in and you've got stuff to say, and it's like, that's the best part. I feel like there were times at Indie where we would sit there for like ever talking about stuff.
That is such a special relationship you have with someone who you share like a time slot with. There are certain people where it feels like they're a time burglar, like you're trying to prep your show and they come out and keep talking to you because they do want to sit there and gossip, and it's like, leave me alone. I have to, like, I'm worried about my show right now.
We do the same job, right? Like, you understand that, like, I'm looking at you like, exactly. I'm clearly not paying attention.
That's how it's always like
once I'm on the show, I'm like, okay, talk to me, it's fine. But like beforehand, I feel like I need to, and I still do this when I have like an interview, like I block in like half an hour to just like fret and worry and wonder if I'm gonna screw it up this time. Like, that's
just,
like,
you know, mentally beat yourself down for a while before.
Yeah, I can't be talking to you. I have things to blame myself for.
You do a lot of interviews now with your current job, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Lots,
Who are some of the cool ones you've done lately?
We've had a really cool year of interviews. I just talked to Lars Ulrich of Metallica, which
that's
is
cool as hell.
Crazy.
It's like, it's not funny. It's just, that's just such a big name in music that it's nuts that it's just like, that happened just the other day. Like, that's like one of the most recent things you've done.
And it was so weird because I saw it on the the calendar. Like, we have our bookings person will we will talk about who we'd like to book, and we'll like have meetings. We're gonna have one, tomorrow, where we all sit down with our list and we say like yes, no, whatever. And we talked about it, but then once we talk about it, I don't know when it's gonna end up happening or if it actually will end up happening. And then one day I like refreshed our bookings calendar and it was like Metallica Thursday. And I was like, oh no. I mean, yes, but like no.
Are you the person that comes up with the interview, or do you have producers that kind of help you along with that too? Because I wouldn't even know where to start with the Metallica interview.
That's what I was gonna say too. Like a band that has done it so much, it's so hard to not get trapped in like, let's go down memory lane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, usually when we book someone, it'll be because they're doing something, like they've done something recently. There are exceptions to that, but like when we'll generally have like a starting point from like, what's your most recent project? And a good tip is start with the most recent project on an artist that's humongous, so that it doesn't look like you're just being like, so what was it like when you were like doing this other thing that everybody knows about? But yeah, so we have a big prep document. I go through like all the articles that have been written about them, all their interviews they've done. And one of my producers and I will sit down for a couple hours and just like hash it out, go through it question by question. And they usually will send us songs or live performances. So we kind of organize it around that. And yeah, like someone like Metallica, like a band like Metallica, we had like a meeting on one day and then to like kind of get organized and then another one because it's so big. But yeah, I mean, the good thing is I have producers who are different ages and from different backgrounds. So like the person I prepped the Metallica interview, huge Metallica fan. So that helps, So like if I'm, if I have no idea what I'm talking about, they save me. But I try to have at least some idea.
I feel like I would be more nervous to show my producer my questions than to actually ask the band.
I was really nervous about that at first. I was like, you're going to think I'm so stupid.
Yeah, like I don't let anyone see my prep because like it's in like almost coded language that only I can understand. Like if you were to look at my prep per day, you'd be like, this guy, one, isn't prepped. And two, like that one like 3-word blurb isn't anything. But I'm like, no, that's actually like a fucking minute-and-a-half story that I got all up here.
You're like a court stenographer.
You always have a plan on how it's going to go, and it's hard to explain it to someone. So it's almost like you got to do it and then show them after, and then they'll understand.
What's your prep look like, Carlin?
Oh, we usually do a prep document. So we have like a Google Drive that we all put prep into through the afternoon. Me personally, I'll usually I'll do a nap because lots of people, working in a morning show, you do a little afternoon nap. I'll get up from my afternoon nap and read through the news stories and everything throughout the day. And if anything catches my eye or I get an idea, I'll throw it in the Google document. And then we have a call at 4:00 that's like usually 15 minutes and plan out the day and then do the show the next day. It has been easier with time. Like I think, as you probably know, when you start a show with other people, you have to do a lot more prep, but you can kind of rely on people more as the years go on. And we've been doing it for 4 years together now. So it's like if we didn't prep anything, we could still go into the show and have a good show, I think. Although we're not doing that, obviously.
Yeah, I'm amazed that you get up after your nap and look at anything. I feel like when I did mornings, I was like, after naps, I was just like a different person who couldn't read or do anything at all. Like it was like, fuck it, the day's over.
I only filled in. Raina left Indy, and then I filled in on mornings for like 3/4 of a year or something like that. And I knew that when I napped, my day was fucked.
Yeah.
There was no possible way I was going to be productive after. It was just like eat and probably have a couple of text conversations. Like that's all that I was doing. And I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't get into whatever. Like I think I was like pretty early 20s. So my lifestyle was like drastically different than it is now. I couldn't get in the mindset of actually going to bed at like 9:45 or whenever you had to. Like I was tired every day and would oversleep on my naps, and I'd wake up like, fuck.
So, some days it's like that, but I go through like I'm going through a string right now where I can't even nap. So I just like I lay down in the afternoon and then I wake up and can't do anything. But yeah, I go through strings like that too.
You do journals on the weekend too, right?
Oh yeah, that's part of our prep. We we all write what we did all weekend in a journal, which you probably did too.
I did have to do that.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing, like especially morning shows, because it's so lifestyle based, right? On what your life is, because you're discussing it with two other people.
Yeah.
And it's a very, I mean, I don't know, you're in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a weird thing to be like,
That's-
so I have to write about this fight we had, or like this thing we did that is, yeah, go ahead.
That's what I got into radio. That's like what I like about radio. I'd rather talk about funny like lifestyle things or talk about a stupid fight than I would talk about music news. But that's
is your
just me.
girlfriend into it? Is she okay with it?
I think when you get it, we've gotten to a relationship since I've been on this morning show. So I think it's one of those things where you almost have to train isn't the right word, but you almost have to, like, when you're going into a relationship, you have to make them used to that, because it's part of the lifestyle, and that's it. She's gotten to a point where she doesn't like us calling her anymore. Like, I always try and set up like calls with her in the morning to talk about something stupid that happened, and she always makes excuses. But I think that's because she felt like we disagreed with her one time, and then she's just like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. So I just have to
hit job on your girlfriend on the morning show.
I have to repair the relationship. Yeah.
It is weird. Like it really goes to show when you're doing a journal, like a detailed journal of what you did over the weekend, you don't really notice how you do really nothing sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, especially
you're struggling to find, oh my God. So like I filled in, Matt and Carlin went on like a vacation, or took vacation, not on a vacation.
Together.
Matt and Carlin went off to the Cayman Islands during the middle of the pandemic. It was so weird. So I filled in with Josie, and I was told to like do a journal and stuff as well. And in the middle of a pandemic, and especially when my girlfriend just started working weekends and I didn't see her like the whole time, I was like, fuck, what did I do at all that was interesting? I tried to watch a movie and got too nervous about committing, and then I stopped it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta like go out and create some drama. Like, I joined an anti-mask protest this weekend because I was like,
something.
had to find something to talk about on the show. I did not do that, by the way. If you're listening, that was but yeah, I never got used to the morning show hours. It was like, even, and I was, at least I was 30 in my early 30s doing that. And I was like, this is great. My lifestyle is different now. And I was still so bad at it.
Yeah. I can never go to bed on time. Like every night I try and go to bed at 10. And by the time I set my alarm and turn my phone off for the night, it's 10:45 at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Frustrating.
It's hard.
Raina, how long were you in Philly before you had to leave it again? Like, how did you get a chance to settle down there before the pandemic hit and Trudeau called you home?
Yes, he called me personally. I guess October 20, I want to say 20th is, I think, when my visa is stamped for. So I was there, November, if you say November, December. Sorry, a truck just went by my house. Let me say that again. You need to cut it. So my visa was stamped October 20th. And then, so if November, December, January, February, didn't make it to the end of March. So like not quite 5 months.
Oh, really?
So I have a place there that I've been paying rent on this entire time. And I got to set up all my utilities, get my driver's license there, get my social security number, get all my bills that I would have to pay when I wasn't there in order. And then I left. But the nice thing is when I go back, there'll be like a place to live and I won't have to do all those things again. But yeah, it was weird because when you move to a new place, you're obviously thinking, okay, I'm going to be here for a number of years. And so like, I wasn't planning on leaving anytime soon, but coming back that soon, it feels silly to be like, I live in Philly when it's like a year later. And it also felt really silly because we had like a big goodbye party before I left. And then I was like, hey, I'm back.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, like, you like Philly goodbye party,
Philly
but no, Toronto.
One last pandemic party. No, right before I left Toronto. So then I was like, I'm back in Toronto. Who wants to go for a walk?
How did you know where to move in Philly? Like that's something that I totally didn't know when I was moving to Toronto. Obviously, you don't know what is a good neighborhood to live in. And I ended up on Queen West, but I remember asking people and no one had a straight answer for me.
Did you
So I
ever
was
see Carlin's old basement apartment?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We talked
Oh
about
my
it on an
God.
episode
Didn't it
not
have
that
a-
long ago.
It had a
Go ahead.
window that went nowhere in the kitchen. Am I crazy? Was that a thing?
Yes,
to
and
a
it had
stairwell.
a drain in the middle of his fucking living room. And he
Yeah.
was like, I lived there for 3 years.
I remember
I
going
can't-
there for beers one time, and I was like, Carlin, we need to get you out of here.
Yeah, that was one of those situations where I was just complacent and I probably
Oh,
should
really?
have went and lived somewhere else. But I remember when I was moving out, I was like, how the hell have I lived here 3 years? Yeah, that was a rough 3 years there.
I mean, once you're in, it's like
Yeah.
pain in
Well,
the
you
ass
sit
to
there.
move.
Yeah, it's so hard to move. But yeah, but is Philadelphia cool to live in?
Yeah, I love it. It was funny because a couple months before I found out about the World Cafe job, my boyfriend and I had gone on a trip for a weekend to Philadelphia, and we kind of like he collects a lot of air miles or aeroplane points, and he's
Total
like,
stud.
yeah, it's super hot. Anyway, he was like, we have basically a free trip within this like realm that we could go to, and we're like, well, I've never been to Philly. Let's try going to Philly. And we went there, and I remember so distinctly that we were walking down the street. I wish I knew exactly what neighborhood we were in, but I was like, can you imagine living here? It's so cool. I can imagine living here, which is something I don't usually say when I'm traveling. Like I'll often be like, ooh, this is so great. Like I love it. But like, I don't say realistically, I could imagine living here. And then a couple months later, found out about this job and applied and obviously got it. But like, so there was this weird thing where I'm like, okay, I think I could live there. And it is a cool city. But finding the right neighborhood is strange because I feel like with any city, there are like streets where like if you cross that, you're in a totally different world,
Yeah.
right? But if you're looking at a map on your computer, you're like, well, that all generally looks like the same place.
Yeah.
So what we did, I mean, this is like kind of a boring answer, but like we just got a real estate agent who would help us find a rental because you can do that and it's free.
Okay.
And he just drove us around in his super cool Jeep and like basically gave us a tour and picked out a bunch of places for us to look at. And we just got like very lucky. I think also the Philadelphia rental market is nothing like Toronto. Like
I was actually going to ask that.
In Toronto, you have to show up with like a briefcase full of gold bars and you have
Yeah.
to get there like the day before the ad is posted to get like a 1-bedroom that costs $4,000 and it sucks. In Philly, they showed us in our like price range, which was $2,000 a month, and we saw like 8 places that I would move into, and one of them had like 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and 3 patios, and I was like, okay, this is too much. Actually, I don't want that.
It's too much space.
Yeah, but like it was really cool because you're like, oh, I don't have to beg somebody to let me live in this apartment. And I actually feel like I'm getting like my money's worth for it. So that's one really nice thing about living there. But it's cool. It's like a very it's easy to walk around. It's really, really beautiful because it's super old. And like I live in one of those little like 3-floor like houses that you think of when you think of like colonial Philadelphia streets.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about colonial.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. You know when
me
you think
too.
about that stuff?
I can't get it out of my head, actually. I'm sick with it.
Drawing pictures of it all the time.
What's that, Brent? Another colonial house?
All my relationships are ending because it's all I want to talk about. But yeah, so it's great. I mean, I remember when I got that job, I was doing the morning show before it, and I was like, this is awesome. I'll finally get to go to live shows again, and I'll have a whole new city to explore. And I think I went to like 3, and then everything closed. So I was like, all right, well, we'll see when I get back. So.
How does the city itself compare to Toronto? Like you going to live shows, do they have cool venues there and whatnot?
Yeah, they definitely do. Again, like I haven't seen as many as I would have liked to. There's a place called Union Transfer that's awesome, and it's like this big, I feel like it used to be something and now I'm forgetting and I'm gonna look like a jerk, but it's like this old building that's turned into a concert hall, maybe around the size of like the Phoenix, maybe a little bit bigger than that. And then there's a place I went called Boot and Saddle that just closed down, which was really cool. It was like bar in the front, venue in the back, kind of like the Horseshoe, cowboy named bars.
In the front.
You know what's funny is like
Venue
Boot
in
and
the back.
Saddle is clearly like a country feel, The horseshoe, not once have I ever, until you said that, think it was Cowboy.
Yeah, same with me.
But it is, obviously.
And then the band I saw at the Boot and Saddle was Sloan. So I saw
perfect.
Sloan.
Haven't seen them before.
Yeah. It was the last band I saw in Philly before the lockdown. I was like, well, this is good. I got some real Philly culture here.
Have you bought into like being a true Philadelphian when it comes to like sports? And
oh, hell yeah. Okay.
I feel like Philly is such a fantastic sports town. I've heard such good things about it. Like Broad Street Bullies back in the day, especially with the Flyers. Like there's that infamous clip of Ty Domi fighting a Philadelphia Flyers fan in the penalty box at a Flyers game. Like I feel like it'd be incredible to be at a live game there.
I have a friend whose dad and him are both Flyers fans, and they got to let go of the Broad Street Bullies thing. Like it happened in the 70s. You don't have like the world's toughest team anymore.
Oh my God, no, they don't. Clearly,
like for some reason they think they're the toughest hockey team ever for no reason at all.
I mean this with no disrespect.
If I had that reputation, I would hold on to it so tight. I'd be like, you cannot take this away from me.
It happened like 40 years ago now.
Yeah,
but when your team hasn't really done that much, and I mean, who wants to go from the toughest team in the world to not?
And so what team are you a fan of again?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, hard to imagine who I love.
What's it like to have a team that does nothing? I forget.
Yeah.
I like this. I like this energy.
I like this as a fucking guy whose team sucks and lost to us 3 games in a row.
The Oilers are 4 points behind the Leafs right now. So
wait, you like the Oilers, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Carlin?
Yeah. Hell yeah, I do.
So like when I got there, one of my first questions I asked my new employers was, what team do I hate? And they were like, Dallas Cowboys. And I was like, cool, thank you. I just never want to accidentally say I like them. And obviously Eagles, NFL, huge. That's like the fastest way, at least it was the fastest way I could think of to like make friends in Philadelphia. I got an Eagles shirt right away. I started going on Sundays to like watch it at our like sort of bar around the corner, and you meet people immediately and everyone's so nice and it's super fun. I'm excited to like maybe go to an NFL game one day. So the Eagles for sure. It was a little bit trickier when it came to stuff like, I don't know, hockey. I did go to a Flyers game when they were playing the Leafs, which was way cheaper than if you're going to go see the Leafs in Toronto.
Man, I can't even imagine.
And I had a shirt that was like my dad's old sweatshirt when he played on a like Toronto league called the Don Mills Flyers, and it had the Flyers logo, but it says Don Mills Flyers. I'm like, cool, I'm doing both. I'm like Switzerland. I'm just like neutral. And then you can just cheer for whoever is winning, and it feels great. Then when it gets to like basketball, it's awesome because the Raptors beat the 76ers. Like that was the game with the shot with like, that everybody remembers. And so like my boss is a huge 76ers fan, and I keep my like Raptors champion hat on my desk, and it's fun. Sports in a new city is fun.
You were still cheering for the Raptors in that series, obviously. Like when you go to a new city, you don't change your sports team.
Yeah, I feel like also, like I don't care about basketball enough to change my allegiances. Like I like it and it's fun, but it's like I'm just gonna cheer for the Raptors because they're the Raptors. And it was so fun. Like I mean, watching them win, going to the parade, like having that happen in Toronto, like I feel like I'll always love them because of that, because it was just like the coolest thing ever, like to see that happen. So I guess I'm loyal to them. But the hockey one is the trickiest one. Plus the Flyers have one of my favorite logos in the league.
They do have a good
great
logo.
Jersey. They have a great jersey.
It's weird though going to a game where everyone's wearing orange and black, like neon orange and black. Like it is a lot to look
it's fucking
at.
Halloween every day in the Flyers arena.
I was like blind at the end.
So Raina, working in public radio, I've never done this before, but what are your listeners like? Do you get some weird hate mail or some weird tweets?
If I get hate mail, people don't show it to me, I'm pretty sure. Like, I think that it goes to like a general World Cafe email address that I don't have. And so I'm protected. There could be lots of hate mail and I wouldn't even know. But in general, I've found that public radio listeners are pretty nice. Like,
yeah,
I've found that actually like working at the Edge, I probably had some of the meanest listeners because it's like, I don't know, is this like rock station? I was very young and it was like very male dominated listenership. CBC is different because it's like owned by, like, it's a crown corporation. Everyone pays taxes. Everybody has like an opinion on the CBC. So if you do something they don't like, they're like, I have the right to tell you to fuck off. Like, and it's a totally different thing. But because of the way it works in the States, and because the NPR doesn't have the same kind of like cultural dominance as the CBC has, people are a little chiller about all that stuff. And, you know, because it's a music show, I'm not really saying too much that's going to get me in trouble on air. Like the tweets that I get that are annoying is like, when a guy, it's always a guy, like, don't you know that like Led Zeppelin had guitars? And it's like, yeah, I know. I've been doing this job for like 11 years. I do this every day. Like
Mansplaining music
really obvious,
to someone who's
like
a music journalist.
Oh no, we lost your audio.
She back? She's coming back. In the meantime, listen to me drinking bubbly.
I'm back. I'm back.
There she is.
Sorry about that. I kicked my cord.
No problem. Better us than like a real interview that matters.
Yeah.
Actually, that happened. I was doing a live virtual audience session for a bunch of our like big donors and listeners. And I was like, the band was playing live and I was interviewing them in front of like 75 people on my computer, and my cat jumped up, knocked the cord out, and I had to restart my entire computer in the middle of it. I was like, well, sorry, everyone. You can't hear me. I had to text like my producer, be like, I'm restarting my computer.
Oh my God.
It's fine. People get it now, I think.
For sure. But it's like the amount of time that it takes to restart your computer is like when you're just trying to fill up the gas tank and it's -40 outside and it's the last dollar. You're like, this is going so fucking slow.
Oh yeah, when you prepay.
It's just like, do you want to update Windows?
Yeah, that happens then. So I've always been curious, how did you get that job? Because that would probably not be on many Canadians' radar to apply to a World Cafe job in Philadelphia.
Well, I worked with the former host a long time ago at the CBC, who also actually went to Ryerson. And she and I sort of kept in touch. And I guess she maybe had mentioned me to my boss now. I still had to go through like the whole process. It wasn't they were like, here, take this job. But that's how I knew about it. It was like, she was kind of like, she was stepping down. They had the job posting up and she was like, just so you know, this is up. And so, you know, because I was conscious of the show already, but that was always something that I was like kind of looking at anyway, was jobs in the States, just because like there's more of them. And it's hard, I guess, to like find one that you like or that you want to get into or whatever. And but yeah, like as soon as it kind of came up, I was like, okay. Actually, I wasn't like, okay. I was like, should I do this? Because I'm going to move my entire life away. And it was kind of scary. But then, I don't know. It was the kind of thing where you're like, I'll apply for this. I'm going to do my best application. And if I get it, I get it. And if I don't, I'll just stay right here.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like kept going. And I kept telling myself, I'm like, I'm not going to get this. It's not going to happen. Like I flew down for an interview. I'm like, it's still not going to happen. And then it happened and I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. Like, so it was, yeah, I mean, it's basically like how you'd get a job, but I just kind of knew about the show. So
looking back on it, were you like, I don't mean this in like a cocky way or anything, but like, were you kind of like, what's left for me to prove in Toronto? Because you did a morning show on CBC, you grinded it out at the Edge for as long as you did. You went from afternoon drive to mornings on Indie. Like there's really not much left for you to like put your stamp on to say that you did in this market.
Yeah, I mean, like in a non like cocky way, when I was looking around at what I might want to do, and I wasn't like, by the end of doing the morning show at CBC, it's a fun show, it's a great gig, but like I could tell from doing mornings that like I wasn't going to be able to last that long. It was like there was an expiration date for me.
Not everybody's a Carlin Burton.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah,
and So, looking around, it was like, well, do I want to try to do hard news? Like, do I want to do like capital J journalism in Canada, or do I want to see what else is out there? And so, yeah, that was kind of it. I mean, in Canada, Toronto is the biggest game in town, and in America, Toronto would still be one of the biggest games in town, but there'd be like 5 of them,
Yeah.
which is like a different sort of thing. So it just seemed like the right move to make at that point.
Do you miss Canada in a sense? And this is a total compliment, but you to me, ever since I've known you, have seemed like such a Torontonian. Like you're such a Canadiana type person that I never thought it was weird that you moved to Philadelphia, but I always think of you as such like a Canadian person.
Yeah, that is something that I like thought about too. Because like once you kind of have like a foothold and you've established sort of like what I'm good at, what I'm known for, it can be a little scary to leave that. I think in a way, because I'd been so involved in like the Toronto music scene at the time when I was kind of coming up, and then doing Juno stuff, doing Polaris stuff. It was like I'd done these things and I loved it, but I was kind of ready for like a new place. Like I'd been living in Toronto since I was 18, and I'd never lived anywhere else, and I was so
Everything that
excited.
you love has closed at this point.
All the venues were going away. But yeah, like it was a little bit weird because like now I have to ask, like every day I feel like I have to ask someone at work, like, how do you pronounce this city, or how do you pronounce this, like, what is this state abbreviation? Because there's so many that start with M, or like, who is this band that like apparently everyone here knows, but I've never heard of? Because there's a whole bunch of bands that I think, especially in like alt rock in that world, because of CanCon, they're like sort of American similar bands that we never played here because CanCon rules. We would just pick one that kind of sounded similar here. That's not supposed to be a like dump on any band specifically or anything, but like suddenly I was like, there's a whole different base of knowledge here that I have to learn. And then also, you're live in Philly. I'm starting to learn the area around my house and my studio. And then it's like out there, it's kind of like when you're playing a video game and like it's like an open world game and the edge of the map is like kind of gets all watercolory and blurry, and then there's just nothing until you walk over there. Like that's what it feels like in Philly for me sometimes. So I'm like, I guess I've seen that, like I've heard that name before, but I have no idea what it means. You like the nuances of a city. And Carlin, you probably kind of had this a bit too when you moved to Toronto from Edmonton. It's like, how do you pronounce Strawn? How do you like what's the Queen's Key or the Queen's Quay? Like or just knowing neighborhoods.
And when you do mispronounce one of them, someone calls you or tweets you and calls you an idiot for not knowing it.
Yeah, exactly. And I haven't done much of that yet because I'm not doing live radio too often. Although I hope that when I'm back down there, I'd love to like pick up some live shifts, because that's the thing I miss the most is like the energy of like doing live shows. But yeah, the new neighborhood thing, it's like it just takes time, I think, and like you have to like consciously try to immerse yourself in it, or else you won't know what's going on. I feel like my other worry was like, okay, I'm in my 30s now, and when I started in Toronto, I was like 18, 19. I was going to shows every night. I didn't care. Like I slept for like 2 hours a day. I don't know. And now I'm like, well, I don't know if I can do that many.
The band I want to see is coming on at 9:30,
and I don't want to be the creepy like older woman at like a basement show being like, "What's up, everyone? Have a beer." Like,
I wore my denim vest.
Have to worry about that.
I'm like that in Billy Madison when he drives up in the T-Bird outside the high school. Like that's how I feel every time I like think about going to like.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man,
I feel I kind of feel that way now too. I'm in my 30s now, but I'll feel that way even with styles where I see young kids wearing things and I'm like, that is the weirdest thing. Like how everyone's wearing pleated baggy denim that's shaped like a triangle. I'm like, I would never think to wear that.
What are you talking about? What is that you just described?
Yeah, it's making me feel so old. Just like what's cool nowadays, like the fashions that are cool.
I remember hearing a rule, I can't remember who said this, but it was like, if you've already worn a trend once and it comes back, you're too old to wear it again.
Yeah.
I don't completely agree with that, but it can be like a nice rule of thumb if you need to know if you're going to look stupid or not.
Yeah.
What if you barely remember it because you were just a baby?
I was going to say, that being said, bucket hats, I totally went back for again, and Brent's wearing one right now.
I was wearing green pants. We talked about this in a different episode, but I'd love to get your opinion because Raina and I bond over the fact that we think Carlin is the weirdest fucking person we both ever met.
Oh, for sure.
Carlin's looking at me. I'm just wearing military green slacks like chinos, and he goes, "How do you even think to buy something like that?" What a sentence! Green pants. How can you fathom it?
It's out of the realm of imagination. Like, Carlin, like, what is your, if you were opening your closet right now, if you were like a cartoon, okay, so say you were a cartoon, and you know how in cartoons, like, they'll open the closet, everything looks like the same. They're always wearing
how Loki literally dressed. It was
like
a black t-shirt and jeans.
What would your cartoon wardrobe be?
Okay, so I'm getting a little more adventurous just because my girlfriend, for any birthday or Christmas, I will ask for new clothes, and her goal is to make me wear something that I normally wouldn't buy for myself. Even this green sweater. Like, this is one of those things where she's like, I think you'll look good in army green, because the thing that I would wear, like the thing in my closet, would just be black jeans and probably a black t-shirt and a black sweater.
Or a t-shirt from a craft beer brewery that happened to drop beer off at Indy.
Exactly. Like most of my t-shirts before were just promo t-shirts.
That's a thing I had to consciously get rid of when I moved. I was like, okay, I'm not bringing every free shirt I've ever received.
Yeah.
Ever, because I feel like there's a point, especially when I was working at Indy, where I'm like, I could probably dress myself entirely in free clothes every day.
That's what I was doing for years. Like, other than jeans and shoes and whatnot, but for the top, I was definitely doing that.
Yeah,
I noticed.
So many beer shirts.
Yeah. But for me personally, I know that you two are both fashionable people. I am not a fashionable person. I just want to go outside and wear something that makes me feel comfortable and that I'm not going to be self-conscious about when I'm walking down the street. So that's why I will wear that.
That's fair.
I get it.
Do your thing, Carlin.
I often wear an outfit that I think halfway through the day, fuck! You shouldn't have worn this. I look like a fucking idiot. I feel so stupid. I feel so uncomfortable. Why did I do this? But life's about taking risks, baby.
This is a thing that I did discover when I was doing the morning show. At 4 a.m., the outfit you choose, not always the outfit you want to wear all day long when you see people again. God. I'd be like, I look amazing. And then I'd like leave the studio. I'd be like, I look so fucking stupid. Like, there's no one can take me seriously in what I'm wearing. That's like, and you'd get into work and you'd be like, I'm cold. I just want to wear sweats. And then you'd walk out and everyone, especially the CBC, like people like dress like they're going to work. And so it would be like a constant thing where I'd be like, oh, I'm wearing a sweatsuit again by accident.
I did a podcast where in the exact studio where Raina used to do her show in CBC. And I was a guest. So I was like, I don't know how to show up to this, right? I'm in like a Bart Simpson t-shirt and short shorts and like checkered Vans or something. I walk in, comparatively, I looked like someone's kid showed up for like, I was like looking like someone who was on a high school tour. And I felt so uncomfortable because everyone there was like button up, like look dressed, or not like dressed to the nines, but looking very snazzy, very professional. And I was like, does anyone see my dad? I'm here to take him for lunch.
The outfit you just described is like something I literally wore to work there. So they probably just thought it was me back.
Hey, she's back.
But I feel like, it was like a thing where I'm like, do I look like a kid, or do I look like I'm a 30-year-old woman who is like, I'm cool? And I never really figured out which one that was.
It makes me sad to think that I walk down the street and there's like a Gen Z that's like fucking loser.
I don't know if you're there yet, though, Brent. Yeah.
Age is just a number. This is a typical thing I feel like you say when you become my specific age. But like, I don't know. I feel like nobody cares what you wear anymore. The pandemic has changed everything.
Hey, it feels like a weight off my chest. I feel like I used to have to look cool, but I don't even care anymore. Like, I don't want to take part in whatever the new styles are.
Have you ever wanted to take part in it though?
When I was a kid, I would wear tight pants before tight pants were cool. I will be one of those people and say I did it before it was
I believe
cool.
you too.
And because like everyone was like the Abercrombie and whatnot, and you wanted to be a skateboarder in a band and you wanted to look like it. So that was the last time I ever was like maybe part of the trend, and I guess I still feel most comfortable in tight pants. So like you said, I'm going to be one of the people who are still wearing the trend when it comes back around again. Probably I have a better
He
chance
never
of doing
stopped
that.
wearing it.
Yeah, I'm going to
The
just keep
trick-
wearing them.
The trick is to find a look where you can age and no one notices. Like I was thinking of ZZ Top and how they wear sunglasses, a big hat, and have huge beards. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I have no idea how old you are. You've looked the same age your entire career, and like the older you get, it actually looks better. And like I would
Yeah.
never know. You can age into that look gracefully.
Definitely.
Fashion advice from ZZ Top.
It's pretty short.
The world should be more like ZZ Top.
I mean,
Is
they did
what
have a song called Sharp Dressed Man. So
This is the
there's that.
ZZ Top episode, is what this is going to be labeled at.
I mean, I went. Did you ever see the pictures of my sister and I performed
I
in a
did see
drag
that.
show as ZZ Topless?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did
I'm a
see
big fan
that.
of that.
I don't even know how to comment on it.
Yeah.
It makes me
Don't worry about it.
uncomfortable almost, and it shouldn't because it's
Well-
just the female body.
But I mean, it was a female body with two matching long white beards.
Yeah.
It's fair. You can feel.
I can't.
however you
I
feel.
honestly, I will say, anytime that I see a photo of ZZ Top, I am reminded of that.
Well, that's good. That's all
One
we really
thing-
wanted.
One thing, if you take away one thing from this interview, it's nothing that we've talked about. It's that Raina and her sister are so good at Halloween and costumes specifically that it's absurd.
Thank you. It's mostly Anne, to be fair. My sister is very good at putting that stuff together. Yeah, she goes next level, like making us wigs, like that kind of next level.
But
Yeah,
I like the fact that you always go for dumb level, ridiculous, funny.
Your Mr. Bean costume was amazing.
Holy
Thank
shit!
If I'm remembering
Bravo.
that correctly, yeah.
Flirting with somebody in a Mr. Bean costume while your sister in a Mr. Bean costume is like on the other side of the room is really weird. Like when you forget you're wearing it, or like the year we dressed as Larry Davids, and I walked
Yeah.
into a party and there was a friend of mine who I had known for like 9 years, and he was just like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like didn't know it was me, and I'm like, "It's me. It's just me. I'm not an old man. Like I promise."
That in itself is like a curb bit.
So what have you been doing then in Toronto to keep busy? Have you been like the rest of us and just doing absolutely nothing?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, so my boyfriend and I have been living in his condo, which is about 500 to 600 square feet, and he is working on about 10 feet away from me right now. But yeah, we watch a lot of movies, play a lot of video games. I got really into Hearthstone. Do you know what that game is?
I
No.
feel like you've always been into Hearthstone.
Yeah, but I mean, I got back into Hearthstone in
Now
like a way
deep
where,
it.
where I
What
was
is
like, I
it?
got to play my daily quests. It's like you ever heard of Magic the Gathering?
Yes.
So it's like a version of that, but on the computer using characters from World of Warcraft.
Oh, cool.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I got into that again. I feel like there have been phases.
There's
we watched-
definitely been phases. Like
Have
especially
you?
there was the drinking and the partying phase at the start,
beginning,
and
yeah.
now I I haven't been I don't remember the last time I was drunk. Like I'll have a couple beers once in a while, but I'm definitely not in that phase anymore. But when the pandemic started, I was also in a super tiny apartment, and I had to move because it was ridiculous living with someone in a super tiny apartment when they're also working from home.
Especially when you're doing radio.
Yeah.
like right now, John's working on a podcast and a bunch of other stuff, but like so we both have to coordinate like when somebody's doing an interview and when somebody needs to be on a microphone, and like all day it's just going back and forth on that, and then trying to be silent while the other person works. And yeah, it's been a real challenge, but I found the summer was really nice. Like did a lot of camping.
Yeah.
I bought a car, my first car ever.
What type
not
of
too
car
long
did you
ago.
get?
I got a Subaru Crosstrek Sport.
Damn.
You know she's in her
Is that
30s.
all-wheel drive? Is that thing all-wheel drive?
It's got all-wheel drive, baby,
Yeah.
and a moonroof.
Not
yeah,
Sun.
Not Sun.
Moon.
I wanted a Jeep, but we decided that it was not a practical solution.
Subaru.
and
If you're listening, she never wanted a Jeep.
I
She
did.
wanted a
It was
Subaru the
it
whole
was
time.
between the two of them, but like since I was a kid, I wanted the Jeep. But the Subaru is super good. Super good, I just said. But it's great. It's great.
I felt like
good,
you were making fun of your real estate agent's Jeep before. I'm surprised that you actually
No,
wanted
when I said it was a super cool Jeep, I meant it was a super cool Jeep. When I got into his car, I went, "This is a really cool Jeep." And he was like, "Thanks, I can take the roof off." And I was like, "Sick." And
You don't mind, do you?
Is this-
Right now,
Yeah.
And then
offering something
actually,
you clearly don't want to do.
when I was thinking about getting a car, and our first thought was like, "Let's get a Jeep," I emailed my real estate agent and was like, "I'm thinking of getting a Jeep. Do you have any advice?" He was so
Jeep
nice.
advice?
He like wrote back, yeah.
What
he was
advice
like-
did he give you?
Yeah, what
said-
is Jeep advice?
Yeah.
He said you probably don't need a hard top because the weather won't get that bad. It was not exciting. I'll tell you, it was not exciting Jeep advice. But I was like, even just that, because okay, I don't want to go off on this forever, but there's a big Jeep community online, and
hell yeah.
I felt like even for a moment in that email, I'd been accepted into it.
Hey, there's a big Subaru community online. So I'm sure if you like looked into some Facebook groups and whatnot, you
Dig
could definitely
around
find it.
Reddit.
Dig around the Forester groups. Are we talking Jeep Wrangler, by the way?
Oh yeah, like the Jeep that you
Yeah.
that you associate with Jeep.
You know,
But anyway,
Jeeps.
It's great. I got my Subaru. It has a bumper sticker on it already. I
What does
put
it say?
cool
Yeah, what's
girl
your
in the. It says the world is weird. That's cool, right?
This is
guys?
Raina Douris
Yeah.
as hell.
Yeah. That's the most Raina bumper sticker ever.
I was like looking at it, and I was like, okay, I bought it, and I hadn't put it on the car because I'm like, once you do this,
You're
it's
a
hard to go
person with a
back.
bumper sticker.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
a very specific type of person puts a
I
bumper
know.
sticker on their vehicle.
But I went for it, and honestly, it feels good.
Where did you find this bumper sticker? Did you custom make it, or did you find it on Amazon.com, or where's it from?
I got it at Philistine on Queen Street West. They have a
Oh.
whole bunch of bumper stickers. So I guess they're back, baby, because that place is cool.
My
Yeah.
mom has a sticker that says Salt Life on her window. Do you guys know what Salt Life is?
No.
No one fucking does.
What is it?
She has it on the back of her window.
Can I
and
guess?
Yeah.
Is it like she likes going to the ocean, the salty air, the sea
Yeah.
breeze?
Yeah. My mom, I don't think has ever been in the ocean.
She's just
Ever. I honestly don't think she's ever been in the ocean.
she's co-opting the community
She lives
there.
at a lake, doesn't she?
She's made this like lifestyle that she's like I don't know what she wants people to think she's about. God bless my mom, but I rib her about the Salt Life sticker. My dad had another one that he was trying to give to me just because he didn't want my mom to put another one on her vehicle.
See, this is the
Apparently-
more important decision. One bumper sticker, whatever, one bumper sticker. You're a bumper sticker person now. But
Yeah.
two or more bumper stickers is like
Too many.
that's different. That's
You
like
have
another different
agendas
kind
that
of
you're
guy.
trying to get across to other people via bumper sticker.
Yeah, and you clearly like you're like that's a different kind of guy than the one bumper sticker guy. And
Yeah.
it's way more unpredictable and it's way creepier and weirder.
If you have a bunch of bumper stickers on your car, I would assume that your house looks like my college dorm, where it's just a bunch of like band posters and like keep calm and drink Red Bull on or whatever the fuck those things say.
And you're wearing entirely free promo beer shirts. Like
Yes,
sick.
yeah.
You know, I've been driving Danny's car around because she's working from home and she's not using her car. And she has a beer sticker on her car from a brewery that I have never drank their beer from. And I don't think I like their beer, but it's part of my my personality now since I'm driving around with it pasted on the back.
Now, personally, I don't know if I would put a beer sticker on my car. I don't want people, if I got pulled over, I wouldn't want the cop to be like, oh, I know one thing I know about you is you like beer.
Here, yeah, it's because she worked at the brewery. Like it's a craft brewery. It's not like she has Coors Light
Like
across the
Budweiser.
back. Yeah,
Neon sign in the back.
A Coors Light decal over your back window.
that'd be badass.
It's it reminds me of this dude that I saw on a motorcycle with the craziest t-shirt that I've ever seen. And just so you know, I don't support what I'm about to say, but this dude has a t-shirt and it says, "If you're reading this, the bitch fell off." And I was like, Jesus Christ,
Wow.
like that is the message you needed to send so badly that you bought a t-shirt.
Like, yeah,
Like-
imagine going into the store and you're like, that's the one.
Perfect.
Pick that up. I'm going to take it to the cash register. They're going to look at it. They're going to see me. I'm going to be like, here's my bank card. Let's make this happen.
Yeah,
At the same time, I know exactly what type of guy that is.
for sure. They're from
Yeah.
Keswick, Ontario, and sometimes they try to come over to my dad's shop.
Exactly.
Raina, can you tell me about the type of person that would maybe collect miniature bears, sculptures, or something like that?
Like this? Or do you mean
What is
like
that?
this? Those are some bears. These are some bears on Algonquin Park. They're salt shakers, actually. Bought those while camping this summer. This is a bear. It's a canned black bear. It's a funny gag gift because it comes with the can sealed. And then you open it, you're like, oh, a bear inside. I don't have any others nearby. But why did you ask?
Are you worried that you're going to become somebody that has a bunch of bear figurines around them for the rest of their life? Or you're going to become one of those weird collectible people?
This sounds like a familiar topic that I was talking with somebody earlier today, actually. Yes, I do worry about that. As somebody, as someone who's sort of decided not to have children, I'm like, okay, so what are we going to do then for the rest
I
of our
guess
lives?
bear figurines,
I
right,
guess,
babe?
like, everyone knows, like, that, like, older person in life who never had kids and has like some other weird thing they've decided to like occupy themselves with. And I was sitting here thinking about that today, and I looked up and just saw like 2 bear things, and I'd recently been thinking about buying another thing that was like bear related, and I'm like, no, I gotta stop now. Like,
Are you a fan of bears, or are you just a fan of figurines?
Or bear figurines specifically?
Like, do you have a type of bear? Because if you want to
This
talk bears,
happened
I'll
without-
talk bears all day.
This happened without me even like meaning to do it. Like, I wasn't like, oh, I love bears, but then it became a thing because I had a couple. But it's
Yeah.
not like, I don't want you to get the wrong idea here. I'm not like bears all the time. This is not like a thing that I think about. I don't have like shirts. I don't have like painted woodwork things in my house that have like bears on them or anything. Not yet. John, my boyfriend, said not yet.
Get him on the pod.
But,
I
like,
love it.
I've always been somebody who liked to like collect stuff, I guess. Like when I was in high school, I had like a rubber ducky collection. I've always kind of liked that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. Bears look funny when they run. And I was like that movie
They're cute.
Grizzly Man.
So you're going to go see the new movie Cocaine Bear when it comes out?
You know what? I don't know. I feel like, here's the thing. I felt like when that Cocaine Bear story came out, everyone was like, I got to have my riff on Cocaine Bear. It's already a joke, just the title, Cocaine Bear. And like, how do you sustain that for an entire hour and a half? I don't know. Maybe
There's
that's why I would
only
see it.
one way to find out.
Have you ever heard of the book Bear, the Canadian book Bear,
I've not.
the novel?
Is this a trick? Is it like
No,
something
no.
we read in school and I should know?
Some people did read it in school, I think, but I can't remember the author's name. But it's a novel about a woman who is in a relationship with a bear. It's as simple as that. It's a Canadian classic, and I keep meaning to read it, but I haven't. But it also
Oh,
the cover is
Oh.
exactly what you'd think it would be. It's an enormous bear, and then a woman standing in front of it who's in love with it.
is this a true
This is
life
like
story?
The Shape of Water,
It's not
but
a true life
with
story.
a bear?
Okay.
I guess so. I haven't seen Shape of Water.
I love when you brought up this story. I thought you were going to tell us about the book, but then you ended it with, "I haven't read the book yet, but I've been
I
meaning
just know
to."
about it.
It's like, oh, nice, cool.
That's
Have
my
you guys
next
read that
step.
book? Because I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't, but I'm going to.
Lots
I'm
of people have. I've heard-
I'm gonna start a new book club, like a good book podcast, and just be like, so I saw this book. I haven't read it, but I hear it's good.
The cover of the book looks
tell you all about
exactly
it.
like you would imagine.
You know, speaking of books, here's one that I have been really enjoying lately. It's called How to Contact Space People.
That's right up my alley.
It was given to me from one of my old producers at CBC, actually, Jacob.
Are
And
you
he-
telling me that someone that has a bumper sticker that says "The world is weird" also owns a book called How to Contact Space People?
It's all by this guy who was trying to convince people that he could psychically communicate with aliens. And like he documents all this proof that he says, like he's like, I they talked to me, and then a blackout happened in New York 3 days later. So obviously they're real. And then at the end, he's like, the whole thing is like, the tease is he'll tell you how to do it. And at the end, he's like, you have to draw a square and like think about the aliens. And I was like, it's one paragraph. And it's not, I mean, I don't know what I was expecting. I wasn't like, oh, you're going to give me the phone number or
Yeah.
something.
But it was a book that disappointed you in the end?
Well, just like, it's just so
I wanted to talk to
obvious,
aliens is
like,
all.
Yeah. The
Don't
last
call it that. Say like my attempts to contact space people,
Yeah.
or like proof that I can. Don't make it like a how-to guide.
That's
Make it
not
the
about
end.
to sell copies.
So the last book that I read, I ended it and I didn't realize that it was the first of a trilogy, and I was so disappointed because I wanted to I was like, oh, how are they going to end this in 50
sucking you
pages?
in.
There's so much left.
Oh,
And
this
it
last
made me
chapter is gonna
so
be good.
angry. Yeah. It was
That's
so
like- yeah.
disappointing.
It's like when you watch like the first episode of a TV show and it's like next week on, and you're like,
Yeah.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna watch the whole series.
I never got around to the other two books yet, and I don't think I will, which
What
is
book
even
was
more
it?
disappointing.
Yeah.
It was
Hunger Games.
Hyperion.
I knew it was gonna be. I was guessing Hunger Games.
Hunger Games? No, I've read those. It was Hyperion, or however you say it.
No,
It's
no,
a
that
sci-fi
sounds,
novel.
okay, that sounds right. Like it sounds correct that you're saying Hyperion.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, then you'll never
I don't even
figure
want
it
to
out.
talk books because
Have you ever?
I don't
read
know
one?
if this shocks anyone, but I'm not an avid reader or an avid readsman, as I believe people who read books are known as.
I mean, you read the names off the backs of sports jerseys.
All the
Numbers
time.
are reading. Numbers are reading too.
It's tough. Sometimes, Raina, I don't know if you feel the same way. Do you ever feel like you're reading a novel and you're not picking up any of the information at all?
Oh, sure, yes, that does happen to me. But like, then I have to like sometimes I'll like have to read the same page a few times.
Yeah, when you
that.
zone out.
Yeah, and I'll be like, oh, I've been reading for like 15 minutes. I haven't picked up on anything because I was like thinking about something else at the same time.
Yeah, yesterday. So I'm reading Tina Fey's Bossy Pants. It is not a long book. I'm quite enjoying it.
I've read
And
that. It's good.
I read an entire chapter yesterday and couldn't tell you a single fucking thing that happened in it. Like, not a single thing. I know SNL was mentioned, but like, when wasn't it in the book?
Why don't you just write your own version? Here's what I think the book is. You're
Bossy
like-
Pants,
Yeah.
from a male's perspective.
Yeah, it's not fair that she wrote her memoir from a female perspective only.
Yeah, right? Men don't get anything, as I was told by a listener on my show last night. My
Wait, what?
dear God. I said, like, I was talking about how the Beaches covered Shania Twain for International Women's Day. And I was like, International Women's Day is fantastic for us to like push the message of equality, and also horrible because it brings out the worst dudes imaginable to say things like, where's International Men's Day? We have it every day. That's International Men's Day is what I said. Then this guy calls, he's like, what you fucking mean by that? I was
he gonna
like,
come
oh,
punch you through the
Yeah.
radio?
I was like, we have unfair advantage over women on a day-to-day basis, I guess is like my point. And he was like, maybe do some reading on beta and alpha and
Oh,
fuck
no.
you. And then he starts like telling me all this shit. It was crazy.
It is true that like I feel like maybe once or twice at Indy I got like a men's rights activist kind of style guy calling me, and I would like, it would always take me a few minutes to, like, not a few minutes, but it would take me like a minute or two to like realize what conversation was happening. Like,
Yeah.
but I try, because I've never been somebody who's great at like being kind of mean to phoners on the radio. Like I
You
remember
could
when
not do prank calls. You were
No.
so bad
I
at
was so
it.
bad at it. Like, I remember we started there at Indy, and our program director at the time, Adam Thompson, he was like, you can be like more, you can make fun of them, you can be more confident. I was like, oh.
Challenge the listener a little bit.
Yeah. And it took me a long time to even get close to doing that, because I'd be like, how are you? And as soon as they sounded upset, I'd be like, I just want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody called in like that, I would like try to hear them out like at the beginning until I realized that like what was going on, and it was always so uncomfortable. I don't get like, I guess the thing was I always figured that like if you're at the point where you're a men's rights activist calling radio stations to tell them how mad you are, like I can't make your life worse.
The easiest
You're
way
already
to
lost,
yeah,
man.
the easiest way to tell if someone has an actual donkey brain is if they describe themselves as an alpha male.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes. Or
Also,
actually
you
worse
just,
would
like-
be if you described yourself as a beta male, and I feel like that's actually worse somehow.
Soy
it
boy
might be
beta cuck.
actually.
It's crazy. And like I posted the call on TikTok, and I hashtagged International Women's Day because I don't know how to use TikTok. And then some guy that clearly doesn't follow me or live in our country started like sounding off about it. And I was like, I responded to it once, and then I was like, holy shit, this guy is just clicking the hashtag International Women's Day to start fights with people. And like, what a sad life that is.
That's so
Yeah,
yeah.
That man is lost, or that man needs a life, maybe.
Let's wrap this up with one more tidbit. This isn't even necessarily really anything. It's such a weird thing to end the podcast on. But sardines in a can, Raina, have they become a bit of a delicacy for you over the pandemic?
Who's asking you these questions? Yes, they're delicious. And you know what? This is what happened. One day, I was going to make myself some lunch. And I was like, all right, I'll make some toast. And I went and found the toast, and it was moldy. And I was like, well, I still want to eat something, obviously.
As you do.
and I was like, okay, what can I do? And we had some crackers, and I had some sprouts, and we had some cream cheese, and I had some tomatoes, and I had some cans of tinned fish. And so I decided to make myself canapes, and they were delicious. And sardines are good for you. They're high in protein, high in omega-3 fatty acids, and they're tasty. And there's no one's gonna smell them if you're not like it's fine. It's just me in this apartment all day. It's not lunch.
When along the way did you cut out the middlemen, though? When did you cut out all of the accoutrement that goes with the sardines and start to eat them right out of the can?
I don't really do that. I mean,
Sure?
why? Who's telling you this?
You know what, Raina? I love mussels in a can, so I'm on board with you.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: canned fish is actually pretty good. It's not like eating. Even actually, Spam is pretty good too if you do it right. But it's not the same as like eating tinned luncheon meat. It is the actual food, just preserved in oil, and it's good, and it's cheap, and it lasts forever. So,
well, heck yeah,
there you
we're
go.
on board with sardines now.
See,
I'm not.
Come on, Brent, get
I'm not
on.
ever gonna eat one.
I'll try. I've never tried it. I would try
peanut
it,
butter out of the jar because I'm a fucking child.
Can I give you another tip then? If you're a big peanut butter guy,
Sardines and peanut butter.
ew. Actually, I bet you somebody loves that, and I've offended them somehow.
For
but
sure.
like,
And they're about to send you an angry email.
this is how I get canceled. We've been making this thing because we also go through a lot of peanut butter in this house, and I found this recipe where if you like throw some sesame oil, soy sauce, lime juice, and sriracha in that jar, heat up some boil some noodles, throw them in, it makes a sauce. It's like this kind of like Asian peanut butter sauce. It is delicious. And
Like a peanut butter satay kind of sauce, I would imagine.
That sounds
it's
good.
so good. I save all our empty peanut butter jars now so I can make it.
That is unbelievable.
Wait, you're doing that in the peanut butter jar?
Yeah, you throw
like
it
the
all in and
remnants
then
of
you
peanut
shake
butter.
it up. Yeah, once
Wow.
it's like empty, but because there's always stuff on the side and the bottom.
Yeah.
And you
There
can
you go.
never get it. And it's so frustrating.
Hey, I want to ask you guys something because I was asking my coworkers in Philadelphia what Canadian-only treat they would like me to bring back for them, and I gave them like a list of like the standards. There's like ketchup chips and like coffee crisp and all that stuff. But is there something that's a Canadian export that you would love other people to know about? Because the reason we got onto this was McCain Deep and Delicious Cake, which I didn't know only exists in Canada. Which makes sense. But
do they have it's not pizza pockets pizza pockets. Do they have pizza pockets down there? I love those
I don't
things.
think so. They have like hot pockets.
I like them better than pizza pops. So maybe those. You just said
I feel
McCain,
like-
and that's where my brain went to.
Yeah.
I feel like the States has like everything and like a better version of it almost.
Wrong. They are not as good at chip flavors as we are.
Oh,
No.
yeah, true.
They don't have
Like-
all dressed, do they?
I know. No all dress, no dill pickle, no ketchup.
They don't have dill
all-
pickle?
Not that I've seen. I mean,
I thought
probably,
that's the most
somebody probably
standard.
does, but
Yeah.
I heard
and
that the States has mango bubbly though.
Oh,
And
they were
as
really
a
good at,
bubbly
like,
connoisseur, fuck man, I wish that was here.
LaCroix.
Yeah.
It's the best. But that's true. They're better at like bubbly water than we are.
It's such a lame answer because you said it, but I'm probably all dressed chips. Like those have been like a staple in my house since I was a kid.
If they don't have dill pickle chips, bring them dill pickle chips because those are the best chips, or one of the best chips.
I want to find a way to
do they
bring
have
down...
crunchy there?
No, they don't have
Crunchy. Fuck.
You know,
Hell
I
yeah.
once won a. Do you remember Junior J's magazine? You guys old enough to remember that?
Yeah.
It was like, so it was a Toronto Blue Jays themed little magazine for kids, and it was full of contests, and I entered a crunchy drawing contest and I won. I got a bunch of free crunchies.
Whoa.
So there you go. Fun fact.
Yeah.
I entered.
That's awesome.
There was before we wrap it up, because I want to get my accomplishment in here too now. There was this thing called like The Magazine that was sold at grocery stores.
That was Junior J's magazine before.
Really?
I think so. They just changed it to The Magazine.
Yeah, so there was a caption contest, and it was Boston Rob from Survivor, and I won it.
What,
it was like, the caption was like, "Welcome to Boston Pizza." It made like no sense for the thing, but I won like, I don't know, a subscription, I think, like a year's subscription.
Especially like, what kid is like, oh yeah, fuck, my favorite Boston Rob from Survivor.
Yeah, like I was so young. I was just like the subject matter of everything. Like, what was I commenting on?
Yeah, like your witty caption that you put under it.
Welcome to Boston Pizza. I don't even think they were in Canada yet.
I can't believe.
No, they're Canadian.
I can't believe Boston Rob's season of Survivor is that long ago.
Yeah.
I think he's been on there since.
Yeah, he's been. Yeah, I mean, he's like a fucking three-peat, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
What even season are they on Survivor now?
They're on. I think they're in the 40s now.
Early 40s.
I love Survivor, but I don't have time to watch it anymore.
I feel like at this point, it's not that special if you survive. Like,
look how many other people have done it.
There's been like 40 of them.
It's not the surviving isn't the draw of it. It's outwitting, outlasting, and outplaying the other survivors.
Good point.
Yeah, it is true.
That's a good point.
I love that show, and when people talk shit about it, the way I'll describe it is it's like a hockey game. Like a hockey game's the same every time you watch it, but it's different because there's different plays and different players playing. So
yeah,
it's the same game, but it's exciting because things.
But the players have changed.
Yeah, they have figured out that TV show to somehow make it so exciting every single season.
I love Survivor,
I don't know who's running it, but they have figured it out.
I'm in a Survivor pool every year. I love it.
One of the phases that I went through during the pandemic, TV-wise, was have you ever seen that show Alone? Where it's
yes,
like
I did watch some of that. Yeah,
they just go into the woods alone, and they have to. In this one, they have to last 100 days in the Canadian Arctic, and it was like, that's like really about surviving. It was.
I don't want to feel more alone in the pandemic than I already do.
But you don't, because you feel less alone. Like you're like they're in the Canadian Arctic alone.
Hey, you know what? I could be that guy. Yeah, fair enough.
It could be worse. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the reality show that I watch too much of is 90 Day Fiance. Big time.
I could see myself getting into that, but I haven't yet.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, Raina, thank you so much for joining us. This was amazing. You were very charitable with your time here.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm very happy to do it. It's actually really nice. I feel like I can't believe that much time went by because I love you guys.
Aww.
I missed you.
We wanted to get you on our old podcast, Handsome and Bad Boy, about 6 years ago, so we made it happen.
That's amazing. Good for you. You know, someone replied to an email of mine from 2013 yesterday. And I was like, I think we just set a
just
record
wondering
here.
if you still have this Facebook Marketplace.
That's amazing.
So I feel like this is a good week for catching up on old things I was supposed to do at some point.
Holy shit.
Yeah.